Welcome back, everyone, to the Deep Dive. This time, we're going to help you prep for a Building Materials Specialized Seller interview using some awesome resources from RoleCatcher.
Okay.
So think about it. Have you ever, walked into a hardware store and felt totally lost?
Oh, yeah, all the time.
That's where these specialized sellers come in, right? They're
Yeah.
the experts who guide customers through this whole world of lumber, flooring, insulation,
Right.
all that stuff to help them find, the right materials for their projects.
It can get pretty overwhelming.
Exactly. So today, we're going to figure out what it really takes to be one of these sellers,
Right?
what skills are, absolutely crucial,
Okay.
and most importantly, how you can convince an interviewer that you're the go-to person for all things construction related.
Sounds good.
Yeah, let's jump right in. So first, we need to paint a clear picture of what a building materials specialized seller actually does, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's more than just ringing up purchases, right?
Yeah.
Think like customer service, in-depth product knowledge, maybe even a bit of salesmanship,
Definitely.
And here's a fun fact. Technology is changing this industry like crazy. We'll touch on how new materials and techniques
Oh, interesting.
are shaping the field. This is definitely something you can impress your interviewer with.
Makes sense.
All right, now let's get into some real interview questions
Okay.
and how to answer them like a pro. So first up, this is a common one.
Mm-hmm.
Tell us about your experience with building material sales.
Mm-hmm.
Now, this seems pretty straightforward, right?
Yeah.
But what are interviewers really looking for here? What do you think?
I think, they want to see beyond just a list of your past jobs, right? They
Right.
want to know the story behind your experience.
Wow.
Like, what kind of materials have you actually handled? Have you worked with contractors,
Uh-huh.
DIY enthusiasts, or both? And did you thrive in a fast-paced, high-volume environment or more, specialized setting where you're giving a lot of advice?
Right. So it's all about painting a picture
Yeah.
of your experience
Exactly.
and how it actually connects to this specific role.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so instead of just saying, I worked at a hardware store, right?
Mhm.
What would be a better way to say it?
Right. So you could say something like, for 2 years, I advised customers on a huge variety of materials at this really busy hardware store.
Yeah.
And I became the go-to expert for everything from lumber to plumbing fixtures.
I like it.
I learned to adapt my approach and guide both, experienced contractors and those first-time DIYers to the perfect solutions for their projects.
That's awesome. I love how you really brought it to life with the details, right?
Mhm.
They talked about advising customers, becoming the go-to expert,
Right.
guiding different types of customers.
Yeah.
That's perfect.
And you can even add some details about exceeding sales targets. Maybe you were commended for your problem solving.
Right.
Did you master that art of explaining complex technical specs to a homeowner who has no clue what you're talking about?
Right. And you know what? Speaking of making things memorable,
Yeah.
this is where RoleCatcher's AI can be a total game changer,
Yeah.
you know?
Oh, tell me more.
Like, imagine uploading a job description,
Okay.
and the AI just goes through it and highlights the keywords, the skills that actually make an applicant stand out,
Wow.
It's like having a career coach whispering all the secrets to success.
That's pretty amazing.
And it gets even better.
Really?
The AI can then analyze your resume, find the areas that match those keywords, and even suggest improvements, to really tailor it to that specific job.
Wow. So even before the interview,
Yes.
you're already using the AI to put your best foot forward.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's great.
All right, let's move on to another common question. How do you approach building relationships with new clients in this industry?
Okay.
So, what do you think is important to remember when answering this one?
I think it's really all about understanding that selling building materials, it's not just about transactions. It's about building trust and those lasting connections.
Yeah, because in the world of construction, word of mouth
Oh, yeah.
and trusted suppliers,
Yeah.
they can really make or break a project.
Exactly.
So how do you actually showcase your ability to connect with people?
So think about it. How do you approach a contractor who, already knows exactly what they need versus a homeowner who's completely lost?
Right.
Do you emphasize product knowledge, problem solving, or maybe your knack for explaining things in a way that anyone can understand.
I like that.
Yeah.
So give me an example of what a good answer might sound like.
Okay, so you could say, I really believe in building relationships based on trust and transparency.
Yeah.
With contractors, I always make sure I understand their specific needs and deadlines and offer solutions that, perfectly meet their project requirements.
Yeah.
And with homeowners, I really take that extra time to explain things clearly, making sure they feel confident in their choices.
Perfect. And remember, a really strong answer often includes a story. Right?
Yeah, definitely.
Have you ever had a client who was, hesitant at first, but then became a loyal customer because of your approach?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Or maybe you went above and beyond to solve a problem and really earned their trust.
Uh-huh.
Those stories really show your relationship building skills in action.
Absolutely.
Okay, now here's a question that can seem a little tricky. How do you stay up to date on the latest trends and developments in the building materials industry?
Okay.
It's not enough to just say, I read magazines, right?
Yeah, no, definitely not.
So how do you approach this one?
So this is your chance to, really show off your passion for the industry and your dedication to continuous learning.
Right.
So think beyond just reading. Are there specific podcasts that you follow, online forums you engage in, or even local builders that you network with? Do you attend like industry events or take courses to really stay ahead of the curve?
So it's about going beyond the basics,
Exactly.
right? Like maybe you recently learned about a new type of insulation
Right.
that's both eco-friendly and super effective.
Right.
Sharing that shows you're genuinely interested in how the field is evolving.
Absolutely. And RoleCatcher can help with this too.
Oh, how so?
Their AI is always scanning, industry news and trends and can give you those little nuggets of knowledge that could really make your answer stand out.
I love that. It's like having a research assistant who just feeds you the latest scoop.
Right.
On everything from innovative materials to changing building codes.
Exactly.
That's awesome. But before you rely solely on the AI,
Yeah.
what would you say is important for candidates to do on their own?
I think it's crucial to just take a moment to think about your own learning journey.
Yeah.
What are you genuinely curious about in this field?
Yeah.
What steps do you already take to expand your knowledge?
That passion's going to shine through even more than any AI-generated insights.
Okay, I love that advice. Now, let's talk about a question that everyone dreads. Tell us about a time when you had to handle a difficult client in the building materials industry.
Oh, boy.
How do we even approach this without, sounding like we're bad-mouthing a past customer?
Yeah, that's a tough one. The key here is to focus on the situation and your actions, not on assigning blame.
Right.
So did you have a contractor who was always pushing those deadlines? A homeowner who was just overwhelmed and couldn't make a decision?
Right.
Share the story, but really highlight how you stayed professional, emphasized with their situation and found a solution.
So instead of saying this client was a nightmare,
Right.
what would be a better way to frame it?
So you could say, I once had a contractor who was under so much pressure to finish this project on time.
Yeah.
And they were really frustrated because a key material was delayed.
So I took the time to really understand their situation, explored alternative options and worked closely with our suppliers to speed up the delivery.
I like it.
Yeah.
So it's all about focusing on your problem-solving skills.
Yes.
Your communication.
Yes.
And your ability to stay calm under pressure.
Exactly.
And you know what? RoleCatcher's interview guides.
Yeah.
They often have specific examples of common customer service challenges and tips for how to deal with them.
Yeah.
So it's almost like having a cheat sheet for these tricky situations.
Right.
All right, let's move on to a question that really tests your organizational skills. How do you prioritize your sales activities in the building materials industry?
Okay.
So, you're juggling customer inquiries, managing inventory, staying up to date on products.
It's a lot.
Right. It's a lot.
Yeah.
So how do you show that you can actually prioritize effectively and get things done?
I think it's about, really thinking about your process. So do you start each day by reviewing any outstanding orders?
Right.
Do you prioritize clients based on, their project timeline or the size of their orders? Do you have a system for tracking leads and following up consistently?
So you're saying it's all about having a system.
Yeah.
Right.
Well,
So instead of just saying, I am organized,
right.
give me an example of what a better answer might sound like.
So you could say, well, I prioritize my day by first addressing any urgent customer needs or delays. Then I focus on those high priority projects or clients with, strict deadlines.
Yeah.
And I set aside time each week to learn about new products and stay up on those industry trends.
That's great. And I love how you mentioned specific actions that you take.
Yeah.
Right? Because that really adds credibility to your approach.
Right. Right.
And you know what? RoleCatcher can actually give you some insights into what this particular company prioritizes.
Oh, really?
Their AI can analyze like company websites and job postings, right, to find those keywords related to their sales strategies and their work style.
So you can tailor your answer to match their specific approach.
Exactly. It's like having a peek behind the curtain at their company culture.
I like it.
Okay, now for a question that gives you a chance to really shine. Tell us about a successful project you led in the building materials industry.
Right.
So this is your opportunity to show off your leadership, your problem-solving skills, and your ability to deliver results.
Okay.
So how do you approach this one?
So remember the STAR method: situation, task, action, result.
Okay.
So choose a project that shows, those relevant skills
Right.
and highlights a positive outcome.
Uh-huh.
So did you lead a team to successfully complete a really complex construction project? Did you exceed sales targets for a new product launch? Or maybe you implemented a new customer service initiative that really boosted client satisfaction.
So it's all about choosing the right story to highlight your strengths.
Yeah, and then tell the story, emphasizing your role, the actions you took, and the positive impact you made.
Yeah, like, for example.
Okay, so you could say, I once led a team to overcome this major material shortage on a really large construction project. And by collaborating with suppliers, negotiating alternative options, and communicating effectively with the client, we were able to stay on schedule and avoid those costly delays.
I love it. And you know what? Whenever possible, quantify your results.
Yeah.
Right? Did you increase sales by a certain percentage?
Right.
Did you reduce customer complaints by a specific number? Because numbers really make your story more impactful.
Absolutely.
And they really demonstrate your impact.
Great.
Okay, so it's not just about saying you did a good job. It's about proving it with actual results.
Exactly.
And RoleCatcher can actually help here too.
Oh, okay.
Their AI can analyze the job description and pinpoint those leadership and project management skills that the employer is really looking for.
Yeah.
So you can choose a project that really shows off those abilities.
That's helpful.
Right. It's like having a personal stylist, but for your interview answers,
I like it.
making sure you're showcasing the best parts of your experience.
That's great.
All right, let's tackle a question that's all about handling those tricky sales moments.
Okay.
How do you handle objections from clients in the building materials industry?
Ah, yes.
Because let's be real, objections are going to happen.
Yeah, of course.
Right, especially in sales. So how do you turn a potential roadblock into a way to build a stronger relationship?
So the key here is to view objections as valuable insight into what the client really needs and their concerns.
Yeah.
So instead of getting defensive, show that you can listen actively, clarify those concerns, and offer solutions that address their specific needs.
Give me an example.
Okay, so let's say a client objects to the price of a particular lumber.
Okay.
You could say, I understand budget is a concern. Let's look at some alternative lumber options that might work for you, but also stay within your budget. Or if you're open to it, I can explain the benefits of this particular lumber and why it might be, worth that investment in the long run.
That's a great approach.
Yeah.
Because you're not dismissing their concern.
Right.
You're acknowledging it. You're offering options, and you're providing valuable information to help them make a good decision.
Exactly.
And that's a huge part of being a successful building materials specialized seller, right?
Absolutely.
Building trust.
Yeah.
Providing guidance. Even when you're faced with those objections.
That's right.
You're a consultant, a problem solver, a partner in their construction journey.
Exactly.
All right, speaking of partners, let's move on to a question that explores your ability to navigate team dynamics.
Okay.
Can you tell us about a time when you had to work with a difficult team member in the building materials industry?
Oh, I think we've all been there.
Right, we all have those colleagues
Yeah.
who test our patience.
Right.
So how do you address this without, throwing anyone under the bus?
Yeah, so again, focus on the situation, your actions, and the positive outcome.
Okay.
So did you have a colleague who was resistant to like new procedures
Mm.
or someone who wasn't pulling their weight?
Yeah.
Share that story, but highlight your communication skills, your ability to, find common ground and your commitment to teamwork.
So instead of saying this person was impossible to work with,
Right.
how would you rephrase that?
You could say, I once had a colleague who was really struggling to adapt to a new inventory management system,
Mm-hmm.
and I offered to help them learn the software, and we worked together to streamline our workflow, and eventually we became a really efficient team.
That's great.
Yeah.
So you're showcasing your leadership,
Mm-hmm.
your willingness to help,
Yes.
and your ability to deal with those challenging situations.
Exactly.
And remember, RoleCatcher's AI can actually analyze company websites and employee reviews, to give you some insights into their company culture and their values.
Oh, okay.
So you can tailor your answer to reflect their specific approach to teamwork
Huh.
and conflict resolution.
Right.
It's like having a cultural translator,
Yeah.
right? Making sure you're speaking the same language as the company.
I like that.
Okay, let's move on to a question that's all about building those lasting relationships. How do you manage customer relationships in the building materials industry?
Okay.
So it's not just about making a sale, it's about creating that positive experience
Mm-hmm.
that keeps customers coming back for more.
Right.
So what do you think makes a customer feel valued and appreciated?
I think it's about, remembering their names,
Mm-hmm.
their past projects, their specific preferences.
Mm-hmm.
Do you follow up after a sale to make sure that they're happy?
Right.
Do you go above and beyond to provide that exceptional service?
So what would a good answer to this question sound like?
Okay, you could say, I really believe in building relationships that go beyond just the transaction.
Okay.
I make an effort to remember my clients' names, their past projects, and any specific needs or preferences they've shared.
Yeah.
I always follow up to make sure they're happy with their purchases, and I'm always available to answer questions or offer advice even after the sale's complete.
That's perfect. And don't be afraid to share a specific anecdote
Uh-huh.
that really demonstrates your commitment to customer satisfaction.
Right.
Did you go out of your way to, find a hard-to-find product for a loyal client?
Right.
Or did you maybe help a homeowner avoid a costly mistake by offering your expert advice?
Yeah.
Because those stories really show your dedication to building those long-term relationships.
Exactly. And in this industry, a happy customer can become, a walking advertisement
Right.
for your expertise and your commitment to service.
Absolutely. So that reputation is super valuable.
Yeah.
Okay, we're on the final stretch here of our interview prep deep dive.
Right.
This last question is all about the bottom line. How do you approach pricing negotiations with clients in the building materials industry?
Mm-hmm.
It's a delicate balance, right?
Yeah.
Between meeting the client's budget and making sure your company is profitable.
Right.
So how do you approach this?
So think about your approach. Do you start by understanding the client's budget constraints?
Mm-hmm.
Do you highlight the value and benefits of your products and services?
Yeah.
Are you willing to negotiate fairly and transparently?
So instead of just saying, I'm a good negotiator,
Right. Yeah.
what's a better way to answer this question?
Okay, so you could say, I approach pricing negotiations as a collaborative process.
Okay.
I always start by understanding the client's budget and their project goals.
Mm-hmm.
Then I clearly explain our pricing structure and highlight the value that we offer. And I'm always willing to, explore options and find creative solutions that benefit both parties.
That's great. And I think sharing a specific example of the successful negotiation
Yeah.
can really showcase your skills. Right?
Yeah, for sure.
Did you maybe negotiate a bulk discount that secured a large order?
Mm-hmm.
Or did you find a creative solution that met the client's budget while still, maintaining a reasonable profit margin for your company?
Right.
These stories really show your ability to balance the needs of the client
Mm-hmm.
with the goals of the company.
Yeah, that's really important.
It's like being a master chess player, right?
Uh-huh. Yeah,
Strategically maneuvering to get that win-win outcome.
exactly.
All right, we've covered a lot of ground.
We have.
But before we wrap up this part of our deep dive,
Mm-hmm.
I want to emphasize that RoleCatcher's AI can be such a valuable tool
Oh, yeah,
throughout this whole process.
definitely.
From analyzing those job descriptions,
Mhm.
tailoring your resume to providing those specific examples and insights for each interview question. It's like having a secret weapon in your job-seeking arsenal.
Absolutely. It's not about replacing your skills and experience,
Right.
but it's about enhancing them and giving you an edge in a competitive job market.
So don't be afraid to use the power of technology to your advantage.
Right.
Combine your knowledge and passion with the insights from RoleCatcher's AI, and you'll be well on your way to acing that interview and landing your dream job in this exciting world of building materials.
That's right. So now that we've tackled those interview questions, let's take a step back.
Okay.
Look at the bigger picture. The career path of a building materials specialized seller, RoleCatcher's Career Guide, outlines several stages from entry level to those coveted senior positions.
So it's like a roadmap showing you, where you can go and the skills you'll need to level up along the way.
Exactly.
Okay, so walk me through those stages.
All right. So at the entry level, you might start as a sales associate.
Okay.
Assisting customers, stocking shelves, learning the ropes.
Like boot camp.
Yeah. Think of it as your construction boot camp.
I love it.
You're building that foundation of product knowledge and customer service skills.
Perfect.
Then you might move into a junior seller role, handling more complex inquiries, offering product recommendations, maybe even helping with inventory management.
Some more responsibility.
Yeah, definitely.
Right.
From there, you could progress to a more experienced seller position, where you might mentor junior team members, cultivate those relationships with contractors, or even collaborate with suppliers on special orders.
So you're really becoming that expert.
Right, yeah. And eventually you could reach a senior seller role, overseeing the entire department, developing sales strategies, managing those key accounts, and leading a team of sales professionals.
So it's a real career path.
It is, yeah.
With a lot of room for growth.
Absolutely.
And RoleCatcher actually provides example profiles for each stage.
They do.
Outlining typical responsibilities and the skills you need to succeed. It's like peeking into the future of your career.
Right, yeah.
Okay, I like that.
Yeah.
Let's shift gears back to those interview questions.
Okay.
We've talked about general approaches, but now let's get down to the nitty-gritty of crafting those killer answers.
Okay, sounds good.
Remember that first question?
Yeah.
Tell us about your experience with building materials sales. How can we make that answer stand out?
So instead of just listing those jobs, think about specific achievements. Did you consistently exceed sales goals?
Okay.
Were you commended for your problem-solving skills?
Right.
Did you master the art of explaining, complex technical stuff to a confused customer?
Those are the stories that really make your experience come alive.
Yeah.
Exactly. It's about showcasing the so what factor.
Right.
It's not just that you worked at a lumber yard.
Right.
It's that you became the go-to person for custom wood orders.
Yeah.
Helping clients find those perfect materials for their dream projects.
Right. And RoleCatcher's AI can help you, identify those key achievements.
Oh, okay.
By analyzing your work history, highlighting those experiences that are most relevant to the job.
So it's like having a personal editor.
Yeah.
Right. Polishing your story to make it really shine.
Exactly.
Now let's revisit that question about building relationships.
Okay.
How do you approach building relationships with new clients in the building materials industry? What do you think makes you stand out in a sea of salespeople?
I think it's about showing that you genuinely care about the client's success. You're not just, trying to make a sale.
Sure.
You're a partner in their construction journey, offering guidance and support every step of the way.
I like that.
Yeah.
So how do you actually highlight that in your answer?
So highlight your ability to listen actively, ask insightful questions, build rapport with all types of clients, from seasoned contractors to first-time DIYers.
It's about being adaptable.
It is, yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so think about your approach.
Okay.
Do you emphasize product knowledge with contractors, focusing on those technical specs and efficiency, or do you take a more educational approach with homeowners?
Right.
Explaining things clearly and patiently.
Yeah. Sharing those nuances shows that, you understand the different needs of your clients and you can adapt your approach accordingly.
And I think, a well-placed story
Oh, yeah.
can really make your answer memorable.
For sure.
Did you maybe turn a skeptical contractor
Right.
into a loyal client by going above and beyond to solve a problem?
Yeah, or maybe you helped a homeowner avoid a costly mistake by, offering your expert advice.
Right. Those stories really highlight your ability to build trust
Absolutely.
and create those lasting relationships that are so important in this industry. Okay, let's tackle that question about staying up to date on industry trends. How do you keep up to date on the latest trends and developments in the building materials industry?
Right.
How do you show that you're not just going through the motions?
Yeah, it's about showing your genuine curiosity and your commitment to continuous learning.
Okay.
So mention specific podcasts you listen to, online forums you participate in, or even local builders you network with to stay ahead of the curve.
So you're really immersing yourself in the industry.
Exactly.
Like, did you recently learn about a game-changing new roofing material that's, lightweight and incredibly durable? Sharing that shows you're actively seeking out knowledge and staying informed.
And RoleCatcher's AI can be a valuable resource here too.
Oh, how so?
It's constantly scanning industry news and trends.
Okay.
So you can use that to sprinkle those little nuggets of knowledge into your answer.
Oh, that's great. It's like having a newsfeed tailored specifically to the building materials industry.
Exactly.
Okay, I like that. Now, let's face that dreaded question about difficult clients.
Yeah.
Tell us about a time when you had to handle a difficult client in the building materials industry.
Everyone has those stories.
Right.
Yeah.
But how do you share them without sounding negative?
So the key is to focus on the situation, your actions, and the positive outcome that you achieved. So did you have a contractor who was like constantly pushing those deadlines, or a homeowner who was indecisive and second guessing every decision?
Right.
Share the story, but highlight your professionalism, your empathy,
and your problem-solving skills.
So instead of saying this client was a nightmare,
right,
how would you frame that?
You could say something like, I once had a contractor who was under a lot of pressure to finish this project on time.
Yeah.
And they were frustrated because a key material was back-ordered. So I took the time to explain the situation, explored those alternative options with them, and worked with our suppliers to expedite the delivery and ultimately, help them stay on schedule.
So you turned a negative situation into a positive outcome.
Exactly.
And that's what they want to hear. Now, let's tackle the question about prioritizing.
Okay.
How do you prioritize your sales activities in the building materials industry?
Yeah.
In this role, you're juggling multiple tasks, deadlines, customer needs.
It's a lot.
So how do you demonstrate that you can stay organized and focused? I think it's about thinking about your process.
Okay.
So do you start each day by reviewing any outstanding orders or back orders?
Right.
Do you prioritize clients based on their project timelines or the size of their orders?
Wow.
Do you have a system for tracking leads and following up consistently?
So it's all about that system.
It is, yeah.
Right. So sharing those specifics really shows that you have a system in place. You're not just, winging it.
Right.
And showcasing a specific tool that you use.
Yeah.
Like a project management app or a detailed calendar. That really adds credibility to your approach.
It does, yeah.
It shows you're serious about staying organized, managing your time effectively.
Right.
And don't forget, RoleCatcher can give you those insights into, what this particular company prioritizes.
Oh, okay.
Their AI can analyze company websites and job postings to find those keywords related to their sales strategies and work style.
So you can tailor your answer to match their specific approach.
Exactly. It's like getting a sneak peek behind the scenes of their company culture.
I like that.
Okay, time for a question that lets you really showcase your leadership skills.
Oh.
Tell us about a successful project you led in the building materials industry.
Right.
This is your chance to shine.
Yeah.
So choose a story that highlights your skills and your impact.
Okay, so remember that STAR method again. Situation, task, action, result.
Okay, and then?
So did you lead a team to successfully complete a really complex construction project? Did you exceed those sales targets for a new product launch?
Yep.
Or did you maybe implement a new customer service initiative that boosted client satisfaction?
So many options.
All right.
But it's all about choosing the right story.
Yeah, and then tell that story. Emphasize your specific role, the challenges you faced, the actions you took, and the positive results that you achieved.
Like, for example.
So you could say, I once led a team to overcome this major material shortage on a large construction project by collaborating with suppliers, negotiating alternative options, and effectively communicating with the client.
Yeah.
We were able to, stay on schedule and avoid those costly delays.
That's a great example.
Yeah.
And whenever possible,
Yeah.
quantify your results, right?
Yeah.
Did you increase sales by a certain percentage?
Yeah.
Did you reduce customer complaints by a specific number?
Yeah. Numbers really, really add weight to your story.
Right, because it's not just about saying you did a good job.
Right.
It's about proving it with tangible results.
Exactly.
And a RoleCatcher can be helpful here too, right?
Oh, yeah.
Their AI can analyze the job description, pinpoint those leadership and project management skills that the employer is looking for.
Oh.
So you can really choose a project that showcases those abilities.
So it's like having a personal stylist.
Yeah.
But for your interview answers.
Right, making sure you're wearing the perfect outfit to impress.
I like that analogy.
Now let's tackle a question that's all about navigating those tricky sales moments. How do you handle objections from clients in the building materials industry?
Objections are part of the game.
Right, especially in sales. But how do you turn a potential roadblock, into an opportunity to build a stronger relationship?
So the key is to view those objections as valuable insights into the client's needs and concerns. So instead of, getting defensive, demonstrate your ability to listen actively, clarify their concerns, and offer solutions that address their specific needs.
Give me an example.
Okay, so let's say a client objects to the price of a particular lumber.
Okay.
You could say, I understand budget is a concern. Let's explore some alternative lumber options that might meet your needs while, staying within your price range. Or if you're open to it, I can explain the benefits of this particular lumber and why it might be worth the investment in the long run.
I like that approach.
Yeah.
Because you're acknowledging their concern.
Right.
You're not dismissing it. You're offering options. And you're giving them valuable information to help them make an informed decision.
Exactly.
And that's a key part of being successful as a building materials specialized seller.
Absolutely.
Right. It's about building trust, providing guidance.
Yeah.
Even when you're faced with those objections.
You're a consultant, a problem solver,
right?
A partner in their construction journey.
Speaking of partners, let's move on to a question that explores your ability to, navigate those team dynamics.
Okay.
Can you tell us about a time when you had to work with a difficult team member in the building materials industry?
Oh, we've all had those colleagues.
Right. We all have them.
That test our patience.
But how do you address this, without throwing anyone under the bus?
Yeah. So focus on the situation.
Okay.
Your actions and the positive outcome.
Okay.
So did you have a colleague who was like resistant to new procedures or someone who wasn't pulling their weight?
Right.
Share that story, but highlight your communication skills, your ability to find common ground and your commitment to teamwork.
Okay, so instead of saying this person was impossible to work with, what would you say?
You could say, I once had a colleague who was, really struggling to adapt to a new inventory management system, and I offered to help them, learn the software, and we collaborated on streamlining our workflow. And eventually, we became a really efficient team.
That's a great example of turning a potentially negative situation into a positive outcome.
Right.
And remember, RoleCatcher's AI can analyze company websites and employee reviews.
Oh, okay.
Give you some insights into their company culture and values.
So you can tailor your answer to reflect their specific approach
Exactly.
to teamwork and conflict resolution.
It's like having a cultural translator.
Yeah.
Making sure you're speaking the same language as the company.
I like that.
Okay, let's dive into a question that's all about building those lasting relationships.
Okay.
How do you manage customer relationships in the building materials industry? It's not just about making the sale.
Right.
It's about creating that positive experience that keeps customers coming back.
For sure.
So what makes a customer feel valued and appreciated?
I think it's about remembering their names, their past projects, their specific preferences. Do you follow up after a sale to make sure that they're happy?
Right.
Do you go above and beyond to provide, that exceptional service?
So what would a good answer to this question sound like?
So you could say, I believe in building relationships that go beyond the transaction.
Okay.
I make an effort to remember my clients' names, their past projects, and any specific needs or preferences they've shared.
Yeah.
I always follow up to make sure they're happy with their purchases, and I'm always available to answer questions or offer advice even after the sale is complete.
That's perfect. And don't be afraid to share a specific anecdote that demonstrates your commitment to customer satisfaction.
For sure.
Like, did you go out of your way to find a hard-to-find product for a loyal client? Or did you maybe help a homeowner avoid a costly mistake by offering your expert advice?
Right. Those stories really bring your approach to life.
Right.
And showcase your dedication to building those long-lasting relationships.
Because in the world of building materials, a satisfied customer can become a walking advertisement for your expertise and your commitment to service.
Exactly. And that kind of reputation is really invaluable in this industry.
Okay, we're on the final stretch of our interview prep deep dive.
All right.
This last question is all about the bottom line.
Okay.
How do you approach pricing negotiations with clients in the building materials industry? It's a delicate balance.
Yeah, it is.
Right. Meeting the client's budget, making sure your company is profitable.
Right.
So how do you approach this?
So think about your approach.
Sure.
Do you start by understanding the client's budget constraints? Do you highlight the value and benefits of your products and services? Are you willing to negotiate fairly and transparently?
So instead of just saying, I'm a good negotiator,
right,
what would be a better way to answer this question?
So you could say, I approach pricing negotiations as a collaborative process.
Okay.
I start by understanding the client's budget and their project goals. Then I clearly explain our pricing structure and highlight the value that we offer. And I'm always willing to, explore options and find creative solutions that benefit both parties.
That's a great approach.
Yeah.
And I think, sharing a specific example of a successful negotiation can really showcase your skills.
Yeah, for sure.
Did you negotiate a bulk discount that secured a large order? Or did you find a creative solution that met the client's budget, but still, maintained a reasonable profit margin?
Right. These stories really demonstrate your ability to balance the needs of the client.
Right.
With the goals of the company.
And that's what they're looking for. Now let's shift gears.
Okay.
And explore the ins and outs of this career path.
Right.
RoleCatcher's Career Guide. Not only outlines the different stages, but also, dives into the pros and cons.
Right.
To give you a realistic picture of what to expect. So what are some of the pluses of this job?
So on the plus side, this role often offers flexible working hours.
Okay.
The potential for high earnings. And the satisfaction of, helping people bring their construction dreams to life.
That's a big one.
Yeah. And plus, you get to be surrounded by cool tools, innovative materials, and the energy of, a constantly evolving industry.
That's exciting.
Yeah.
But it's not all sunshine and rainbows, right?
Right. The guide also highlights some challenges.
Okay, like what?
So like the physically demanding nature of the work, the need to to keep up with, those ever-changing trends.
Right.
And the importance of mastering that extensive product knowledge.
So you need to be, comfortable working on your feet, lifting heavy objects,
Yeah.
constantly learning.
It's a role that demands both physical and mental agility.
Okay, so tell me more about the work environment.
Okay, so RoleCatcher also provides, some insights into the work environment and the types of interactions you can expect. It mentions that the work typically takes place in, a retail environment like a hardware store or a building supply store.
Okay, makes sense.
And it emphasizes that the work can be, physically demanding, involving, lifting and moving heavy materials.
Yeah.
You might also be required to work in a noisy and dusty environment.
So if you're someone who prefers a quiet, climate-controlled office,
Right.
this might not be the right fit.
Probably not.
But if you enjoy, interacting with customers, solving problems, working with your hands,
Yeah.
then this could be a really rewarding and fulfilling career path.
Absolutely.
Now, let's talk about something I'm really interested in.
Yeah.
Specialization.
Okay.
RoleCatcher mentions that specialized building material sellers are in high demand.
Yeah, they are.
So what are some areas that you could specialize in?
So think about, the different categories of building materials. You could specialize in lumber, flooring, roofing, insulation, windows and doors, plumbing fixtures, electrical supplies. The list goes on.
So instead of being a jack of all trades,
Right.
you could become the go-to expert for a particular type of material.
Yeah,
Or a specific niche within the industry.
exactly.
Okay, so give me an example.
Okay, so let's say you're passionate about sustainable building practices.
Okay.
You could specialize in eco-friendly materials
Wow.
like bamboo flooring, recycled insulation,
Okay.
or low VOC paints.
That's a great niche.
Yeah, or maybe you're fascinated by the latest advancements in smart home technology.
Oh, yeah.
You could become an expert in smart lighting, home automation systems,
Okay.
or energy efficient appliances.
That's a hot area.
It is, yeah.
So it's all about finding, an area that really excites you and where you can see yourself developing that deep expertise.
Exactly.
And specialization can be a major asset in your job search.
It can, yeah.
It allows you to target, specific companies or roles that align with your area of expertise, so you become a more attractive candidate.
For sure.
Okay, so give me an example.
Okay, so if you're a specialist in sustainable building materials, you might target companies that focus on green construction,
Right.
or eco-friendly renovations.
Okay, makes sense.
And during the interview, don't be shy about highlighting your specialized knowledge. Mention specific projects you've worked on, certifications you've earned, or even industry publications you follow.
So it's all about showing that you're not just knowledgeable
Right.
about building materials.
You're a true expert in a specific area.
And that expertise brings value
Yeah.
to the company. Now, let's circle back to the power of RoleCatcher's AI.
No. Okay.
It's not just a tool for interview prep. It can actually help you explore those different specializations
Yeah.
within the building materials industry.
Right.
You can use the platform to research different categories, analyze industry trends, even connect with professionals who are, already working in those specialized roles. It's like having a mentor.
Yeah.
Who can guide you towards the path that really suits your interests and your goals.
Exactly.
And don't forget, RoleCatcher's AI can also provide feedback on your interview answers.
Right.
Tailoring your approach
Right.
to the specific company and the role you're targeting.
So it's like having a personal coach helping you, fine-tune your performance.
And increase your chances of success.
Oh, absolutely.
So as you prepare for your building materials specialized seller interview, remember that you have, valuable resources at your fingertips.
We do.
Combine your passion and knowledge with the power of RoleCatcher's AI, and you'll be well on your way to landing your dream job in this exciting and rewarding industry.
Absolutely.
All right, so we've talked about the career path, the different specializations, and even the pros and cons of the job.
Yeah, we've covered a lot of ground.
But so, do you think our listeners are feeling more prepared
Hopefully.
to thrive as a building materials specialized seller?
Yeah, but, acing that interview, it often comes down to those small details,
Right.
those little things that make a big difference.
So you're talking about those subtle things that show you've gone the extra mile.
Exactly.
Like you're not just knowledgeable,
Mm-hmm.
but you're also thoughtful, prepared, and genuinely excited about the opportunity.
Right. It's all about showing that enthusiasm.
Okay, so let's dive into some of those finer points
Okay.
that can really elevate your interview game.
All right. So first impressions matter.
Yeah, of course.
Before you even say a word, your appearance, your demeanor, they speak volumes.
Right.
So dress professionally,
Mm-hmm.
even if the company culture is more casual.
Yeah.
A neat appearance really shows that you take the opportunity seriously.
It's like showing up to a construction site in clean work boots.
Exactly.
Right. You're ready to get down to business.
Right.
And remember, confidence is key.
Yes.
Walk into that interview with a smile.
Mm.
Make eye contact.
Uh-huh.
Project that air of self-assurance.
But confidence doesn't mean arrogance.
Right. It's about finding that balance
Yeah.
between showcasing your expertise
Mm-hmm.
and being humble, eager to learn.
Exactly.
Now, what about body language?
Okay, so body language, sit up straight. Maintain that good eye contact. Avoid fidgeting.
Right.
These little things project an image of professionalism and engagement.
It's like using the right tools for the job.
Yeah, I like that.
The right body language can really help you build that rapport
Mm-hmm.
and convey your message effectively.
Right.
Okay. And active listening.
Oh, that's crucial.
Super important, right?
Yeah.
So how do you show that you're really listening?
So engage with the interviewer.
Uh-huh.
Ask clarifying questions.
Right.
And show that you're really taking in the information that they're sharing.
So it's not just about reciting those pre-rehearsed answers.
No, definitely not.
It's about having a real conversation,
Mm-hmm.
showing that you're thoughtful and engaged. Yeah. Okay, now let's talk about salary expectations.
Yeah, right.
This is a topic that often trips people up.
It can, yeah.
But RoleCatcher's Career Guide actually provides salary ranges
Yeah, that's helpful.
for different experience levels,
Mm-hmm.
which can be really useful
It can, yeah.
in your negotiation.
It's like having a pricing guide for your own expertise.
Right. You know your worth,
Yeah.
and you're prepared to discuss it confidently.
So do your research,
Mhm.
know the market rate,
Yeah.
and be ready to articulate your salary expectations
Right.
clearly and professionally.
And remember, salary isn't everything.
No, definitely not.
Consider the entire package.
Yeah, the benefits.
The benefits, the opportunity.
The company culture.
Yeah. Be prepared to discuss what's most important to you.
Right, because it's about finding the right fit.
It is. Yeah.
Okay, now let's talk about those final moments of the interview.
This is your chance to really leave a lasting impression.
Yeah, so have a few thoughtful questions prepared
Yeah.
that show your curiosity
Wow.
and your genuine interest in the company and the role.
So it shows that you've done your homework.
Right,
You're not just going through the motions.
exactly.
Give me an example.
Okay, so you could ask about the company's growth plans, their commitment to sustainability, or their approach to professional development.
That's great.
Yeah.
And always end the interview by, expressing your enthusiasm
Yeah, for sure.
for the opportunity
Mhm.
and reiterating your key skills and qualifications.
Right. It's like hammering in that final nail.
I love that.
Making sure your message is clear and memorable.
And don't forget the power of a thank you note.
Oh, yeah.
A brief, personalized email after the interview
Mm-hmm.
can really go a long way
It can, yeah.
in reinforcing your interest
Mhm.
and leaving that positive final impression.
It's a small gesture, but it shows,
Mhm.
professionalism and appreciation.
Okay, I think we've covered just about everything.
I think so, too.
Are you feeling ready to step into that interview and showcase your expertise as a building materials specialized seller?
After all this, I think I am.
Me too. I think our listeners are too.
Absolutely.
So remember, you've got this. You're knowledgeable, you're passionate, and you're prepared.
Yeah.
Combine those skills with the insights and tools we've talked about.
Right.
And you'll be well on your way to building a successful and rewarding career in this dynamic industry.
Absolutely.
This has been The Deep Dive, your guide to navigating the world of building materials and acing that specialized seller interview.
Until next time.
Until next time, keep learning, keep growing, and keep building.